that's what's interesting with where we are in this process. We're really in the first year of implementation. And so while every school and all of our school leaders have been involved in one of the initiatives along the way, as we worked as the PLC group to pull it together into a coherent framework and the framework that we can implement, we now have in year one, we now have the expertise within our group. So we have internal leadership that is designed just inherently in the process, so that we have individuals that have background with RTI implementation. We have individuals that are very much involved with some of the school climate and student behavioral kinds of programs that we're working with. So the inherent leadership is embedded in the group, and that's where our effectiveness is coming from. So there's not only a lot of commitment, but there's, more importantly, as we've designed the programs and in year one of rolling it out, the programs are more effective that way because they've been tried and we've actually had 2 or 3 years of work in some schools. So we anticipate it being a 3-year process before we look at any other initiatives coming on board. It's going to take 3 years of working it through.
So you've brought in a very broad process where you started, and you saw a transition into quite a different take on where you thought you were really going to be to where you are now today, 1 year later. And now you're really being able to see your internal leaders emerging. And so what are the indicators that you now have seen that include you're making that improvement, there's impact that you know, and what are the best practices that you're seeing that have evolved 1 year later for the students and your staff and your community?
I guess a couple of lead indicators that really relate to a couple of the initiatives that make up the framework. We regularly measure the school climate and connectedness through AASB, and we make a big deal out of those results with the site administrators, and they make a big deal out of the results with their communities. We make a big deal out of the results with the advisory school boards in those communities, and they have a hand in trying to raise the scores on some of the items that pertain to community support. And so we've seen considerable improvement in those results where the staff and students of the school have been rating their school higher each year on climate and connectedness. The other one is the SIOP effort. Shelter Instruction Observation Protocol has a built-in system of basically monitoring the level to which it is implemented at the classroom level, at the student-teacher relationship level. And so I think in terms of implementation, that's where you know if it's really happening, rather than just some piece of paper that's generated by somebody based on whatever. It's true data on really what's going on. The RTI piece is the most in its infancy of the 3 kind of main legs to the framework. And so we're in fact, next weekend we'll be meeting as a group to try to work on our knowledge and understanding of RTI and how it can be implemented in a variety of sizes of schools with different characteristics. So we'll be spending some time together figuring that out, because none of us have the answer alone. And, the group of 27 site administrators and a few district office folks, the power within the group is huge. We just have to find a way to make it all fit together. So.
So,